Hello, Miss Hurst and Mrs Goodwin here, and we're going to show you how to make bean burgers. First thing you need to do is your mise en place. That means everything in its place. So you need to get out all of the equipment that you need and all of the ingredients you need as well. The ingredients you need is 1 small onion, 1 tin of butter beans, 100 grams of cheese. It can be any type of cheese, a Wensleydale, mature cheddar, mozzarella, but it doesn't have a lot of flavour, so you may want to mix this with something like a parmesan. 1 egg, approximately 100 grams of plain flour, approximately 100 grams of breadcrumbs, oil, any type. If you have it in a spray bottle, that's useful, but don't worry if you don't. And anything to taste, such as salt, pepper, garlic, chives, any herbs or spices that you wish to add. Going back to the breadcrumbs, you can either purchase ready-made breadcrumbs from the shop, or you can make your own by using either slightly stale bread or the crusts and whizzing them up in a food processor. The equipment you will need is 1 large bowl, a saucepan or wok, a wooden spoon, 2 baking trays, a sheet of greaseproof paper, a chopping board and knife, potato masher, 3 plates or small trays, a teaspoon for your herbs and spices, a fork, a cheese grater, depending on which type of cheese you have chosen to go for. If you've got something like Wensleydale, you can crumble straight in, but a cheddar you would need to grate. A sieve for draining your butter beans. If you choose to drain this way, you may be able to use the lid of the tin to drain straight into the sink. Now you have your mise en place, you're ready to start cooking. Start by preheating your oven to 200 degrees Celsius. Then crack your egg onto one of your plates or small trays and whisk to combine the yolk and white with a fork. Set up your plates or trays so that it is the 100 grams of plain flour, your egg, and then your breadcrumbs. This is called a pané, and this is what you will coat your bean burgers in later on. Put a tablespoon of oil in the bottom of your cold pan or wok. The onion needs to be sautéed before it is added to the butter beans to make the burgers. It is cut very, very finely. This is called Brunoise. Peel the skin of the onion and discard, then cut in half. Because it is very, very finely diced, you need to make sure your fingers stay out of the way and you are using your bridge and claw grips. Tip your onion into your cold oil in your pan and then take it over to your hob. Turn on to a medium-high heat and stir occasionally to prevent the onion from sticking or burning in the oil. If you want to speed up the process, you can add a splash of water. This will create steam and cook the onion quicker. Whilst you're waiting for the onion to cook, you can drain your butter beans, either using a sieve or using the lid of the tin and into the sink. We are doubling the recipe, so we have 2 tins of butter beans. Check on your onions and give them another stir. You now need to use your potato masher to mash up your butter beans. They're quite tough, and we have 2 tins in our bowl, so it's even harder. You can use a food processor, but you can go too far too quickly, so it is better to use the potato masher by hand. Check on your onions and they should be nice and soft by now. Put the saucepan over to your bowl of butter beans. Remember the saucepan is hot, so you may need to protect the work surface. We're going to add all the ingredients to the saucepan so the heat and the warmth of the pan melts the cheese a little bit and makes it easier to mix together. Crumble or grate your cheese into your bowl of butter beans. Then tip all the ingredients into your saucepan. Mix thoroughly with your wooden spoon. And add in your herbs and spices. Mix again and then we're ready to start moulding your bean burgers. Use your knife to split your mix into 4 equal parts. We have doubled the mixture so we can make 8 bean burgers out of these ingredients. Wash your hands for good hygiene practice, then scoop out one of the sections of your mix and mould into a bean burger shape. Place onto your greaseproof paper and then move on to the next one. Once all your burgers are shaped on your greaseproof paper, you're ready to coat in breadcrumbs. This is called pané. Start by oiling your second baking tray. You can use spray oil, dip your fingers in a little oil, or use a pastry brush to spread it around. Lay out everything on your work surface so that it's all easy reach and in the correct order. You need to choose one of your hands to be the dry hand and one hand to be the wet hand. Mrs Goodwin has her right hand as the dry hand and her left hand as the wet hand. So as she takes a burger, she dips in the dry flour and then into the wet egg yolk and then into the dry breadcrumbs. She makes sure that her right hand stays dry and free from mixture. Although you may have some breadcrumbs left over when you have finished, these will need to be thrown away as they have been contaminated with raw egg. Before they go in the oven, your bean burgers need a little oil over the top. You can use either spray oil or again, dip your fingers in some oil or use a pastry brush. Your bean burgers need to go in your preheated oven for 20 to 25 minutes. It's a good idea to check them halfway through cooking, but you might not need to turn them over as it is a metal tray that conducts heat and they have been sprayed with oil all over. Once cooked, they should be a lovely golden brown colour like this. Perfect for serving as a starter with a side salad and a sweet chilli dip, or as a main meal with a burger bun, some chips and coleslaw, or a more healthy option with carrots, green beans and sweet corn.